Wow. Well, a former staffer's here, and he said, how you doing? And I said, variable. That's the way it is in DC. Some days, I mean, when we met with Trump back in March, early April, and we agreed on $2 trillion of infrastructure investment, long overdue, much needed, and we even agreed on what it would be spent on. It would be roads, bridges, highways, transit, it would be wastewater, it would be clean drinking water, and it would be broadband. To provide broadband equity throughout the country to help rural areas, economic development and others. So that was very exciting. When we went back a few weeks later, and after Mick Mulvaney, his Freedom Caucus chief of staff, had brought in Grover Norquist and all the naysayers, the president flipped and said, no, we're not talking anymore. Well, he since then indicated he wants to have discussions again. So we'll see when we go back in September. If he'll sit down and we can talk real money, the speaker said to him, we are happy to sit down again, but we've got to talk about funding. So I may be Lucy in the football, but I'm still hopeful that might happen. My Coast Guard bill will move in the fall. My Harbor Maintenance Tax bill will move in the fall. I'm negotiating with the Republicans on my committee. My committee is probably the least partisan committee in Congress, and we try and do things on a nonpartisan basis. Sometimes we have to disagree. My former chairman wanted to privatize the national airspace. I had to fight him for 3 years, and I finally won that fight. And a couple of senators have proposed that we should revisit that, as has the president. And I said, yeah, good luck. He isn't breaking, go break a pick on that. I'm not even going to hold a hearing on that idea. So, so that's not coming up. But, we've still got work to do in the airspace. Integrating drones into the airspace is tricky. Migrating to a new GPS-based system, which we've already deployed federally, but the airlines haven't bought the equipment to use, and then they complain that the FAA is inefficient. Yeah, the airlines are doing such a great job. The airlines, they wanted to take it over and run it. I said, how many times has your reservation dispatch systems crashed in the last 5 years? Well, many of the airlines have been paralyzed, sometimes Southwest for 2 days, because their systems crashed. The national system to control our airspace, the largest, most complex airspace in the world, and the safest in the world, is never down for a second. Never down for a second. We lose some regional stuff when a contractor sabotaged the Chicago, but we had national assets to back that up. So there's work to be done. There. We're going to be debating, a whole host of other issues. We've got to get through the appropriations process. We've got an agreement on budget caps, but we have to get the appropriations done by October 1st. Mulvaney would like to shut down the government. I think Trump is getting advice from other people that he shouldn't listen to Mulvaney, and shut down the government won't be good for his re-election. So hopefully we're not going to go through that stupidity again. And so, I expect it won't be boring.
I suspect